All right, give me a voice test.
This is a voice test. Talking normal.
All right. That works. All right, I think we're ready.
You did my Twitch right now. I guess I didn't have it muted because I was listening to you last time.
Wonder what's behind the fish camera. Oh, you know what? I haven't started the game. Let me get the game going. Yes, we know you can hear us and not see us. That's exactly what I want. Still setting up a little.
The Atos fish is the one staring at the wall. They believe we've turned at the fish.
So I saw someone say there's a paradise fish. No paradise fish. That is a Bosemani rainbow fish there that has the orange back. That's an Iranian red rainbow fish that has the similar body, but he's kind of reddish. Bosemani's the orange back. Those are rummy-nosed tetras, one with little flag tails and the red nose. That is a angelfish. Oh, and that was an apisto.
Sea hoggers that just walked and swam in front of me.
As an apisto, a double red agazi apisto. Right there you see the rare, there's a gudgeon goby that a killifish is trying to mate with. He tries to mate with every fish in the tank. He like swims alongside and tries to, he's just crazy. We're probably going to move him to the penalty tank.
You have a lot of fish.
That's just the one tank. We got like, I don't know, 20 tanks or something. It's crazy. It's the wife's fault. And yes, there's a ram. There's a gold ram. There's a couple of electric blue rams. There's 3 big clown loaches in there. Oh, that guy was coming right at the camera.
Yeah. In my post-college years, I also had fish. My fish tank was just like a vertical hexagon-shaped 10-gallon one is what I ended up with. And they were just regular freshwater fish. They kept growing to be like inappropriately big size. Like I had this pleco,
yes,
who was always vertical, and he grew to be like a big turkey leg. It was like 8 inches long or something huge. So the tank could not support him alone, and there were other fish in there. It was just so big.
Oh. Yeah, there's a common pleco in the tank behind me right now. Thing. It's just a loose leaf. Alright, let me get into the game there. Oh, it's time. It's actually time. Greetings, Avatar! Hold on, let me get on the other guy. Hey, thank you, Denharu. Alright, guys. Welcome back here to another week. Another week that was a blur to me. But I am here with Sannio, who you cannot yet see, but I need to get him on their display capture. That's probably it there. Why didn't that come on? Bam. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Get myself over there. I don't need to be that big. All right. Whew. Okay. Again, welcome to another Friday stream. A little tired from the week, but think we are ready to go here. We didn't have any real big topics we were going to talk about. We got a few things we can share that we're going to be looking into. I think most people know release is in 13 days from now. So I saw some people throwing out a few things need to be fixed. I'll get those in. I think I hit the stuff you guys had last time. The bug fixes or the requests you threw at me. Lots of good stuff going. We also have our new coder who goes by codename David. He is enjoying things. It's always fun seeing a new person come on the project. At least in the capacity he's in, a programmer. We haven't had a new programmer in a long time. but seeing them come on the project and think everything's easy, it's going to be great, I know it all, it's going to be awesome, and then them seeing that working on a giant project with lots of people can be frustrating at times. So he's doing good. But I actually gave him a few early tasks that were things that I knew were not super. Oh, and the hype train's already happening. Well, at least we got some people in the stream before it started this time. If you finish level 1, you'll get 1 extra round of prizes. If you finish level 2, you get 2 extra round of prizes. Do it for the people in the community. You can be their hero and get an extra round of prizes. We'll do all the prizes at the end again, as we have been doing lately. Anyways, he's done some good stuff already. I think I gave him the task. Again, this is one of those tasks that we've known was a bug, but I didn't know how important it was. And again, I knew it was a bug, but the training dummy thing, which I know there's some people who are really touchy about, but I had somebody sit down and really talk me through why it's important to get it fixed, because I knew what the fix was, and the fix was...
What was the problem with training dummies, though?
What? What was the problem with the training dummy?
Yeah. I know the problem, but...
Well, yeah, the problem with the training dummy was you could place it would work just fine, but if you left the lot, it would stop working. And it's just because it was one of the old style systems and needed to be rebuilt completely from scratch. But the new guy, David, tried to fix code side of things, and I think he spent... I don't know how many hours he spent on, but a couple days working on just trying to fix code side of things. And then we ended up backing all that out, and he did it a different way after I pointed out some other stuff there. But I think it was a good learning process for him. I think he was probably a little frustrated because he felt like he should be doing more, but he's doing awesome. It's the first week or two you're going to be on a project, you're always going to be learning. Oh, and I see some people being generous out there, and I'm going to thank you guys all at the end rather than constantly interrupting myself. But yeah, so it's always a learning process. I told him coming on the project that I was just going to have him work on bugs before he touched UI or any of the other stuff, so that he could touch a lot of different systems. Oh man, going for the level 2, I see. But it's been good. He's been learning a lot of stuff, and it's also one of those reminders of all the lost knowledge, or knowledge we take for granted that we need to document on things too. So it's been fun pointing out the systems, and also it's been fun for me because it's no secret that I have a love-hate relationship with Unity. Lots of good stuff about Unity, but lots of frustrating stuff, especially on a big project. So it's been good having him on the project. And him starting to hate Unity on a big project too. So he keeps asking me, "What's wrong with it? Why is it so slow?" Yeah. Why is it so slow? That's a great question. But it's just it doesn't handle really big projects super well. Coming up on level 2 already, man.
Nice.
But yeah, it's been good. He's already fixed. I don't know how many bugs. A number of bugs. Let me see what he's done here. Let's see. He has fixed some code he broke. He fixed the training dummy multiple different times, but we think the last one stuck, so that'll probably go live just because it touched a lot of different things. That'll probably go live in 13 days, not now. Let's see. That may be... Oh, no, he fixed a few other things. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's been fun watching him go through the training dummy fix, too, because I fixed it. We look into it. Nope, not fixed. I fixed it. Well, it's fixed, but it generates a copy of it multiple times, and there's 2 guys in the same place, so you can only hit it from one angle. I fixed it. Nope, didn't work again. So it's been fun watching him go through and find all this stuff and seeing all the side effects from things. But anyways, no doubt at all that he is going to be an absolute huge asset to the team, just having an extra tech person on the team, especially one that's young and full of energy. I actually don't know how old he is.
It occurs to me that we didn't introduce ourselves yet.
Yeah, we didn't? Okay. Who are you?
I am Keith Quinn, known as Sannio on the forums, and I do quests and level design and player-owned town implementation and some other things. for Shroud the Avatar. ShroudTheAvatar.com, free-to-play game.
And I am Chris Spears. I go by a bunch of names in game. Atos is the common one, which, yes, someone pointed out last time, that is soda spelled backwards. If you work on the game early, you get to pick the cool names. So Atos, and then also I'm in some form of Chompers. Chomp, because my amazing 6-year-old, when she was, I don't even know how old, maybe 2 or 3, someone gave her a bouncy horse, one of those horses you sit on. It's like an inflatable horse and you bounce up and down on it. And she named it Chompy. She was just calling it Chompy. And I was like, where did you get that name from? It's like, I made it up. So she makes up a ton of names. And like when you're 2 or 3 years old, you haven't heard many names. So she just made up a name out of thin air. But anyway, so I use Chompy as my other character name. Let's see. Oh, and this is the amazing town of Mysteria. But I'm going to head over to Ironhall. I said I'd stop by there one more time. Check out a few things. Let's see. What have I done since the last time we were here? Oh, I know another thing that David did, which is he fixed the leaderboard stuff. First day on the project, I threw a curveball at him, which he knows C#. And the leaderboard stuff was a automated script that runs something that runs Python that pulls from a database and parses it and dumps it as XML type stuff. So I thought that'd be a good curveball to throw him a task that isn't even the language that he's familiar with. But he did it. It took him a little while, but he fixed the leaderboard stuff, and that's what I like. That's one of those things I always talk about. One of the great things about getting a new guy on the project, especially someone who's young and doesn't know how tough things are sometimes on big projects, is they don't suffer from what I always call analysis paralysis, where they're so afraid to do anything they don't like just jump in. He seems to be have no problems with that and is pretty fearless in terms of going in and fixing stuff, which I absolutely love. The other guy's really good at that because I haven't plugged him much. Is Undone. He's another one of those guys who's kind of fearless and doesn't care what it is. He doesn't get stuck on things. He never gets paralyzed. So, but anyways, welcome to the Shroud of the Avatar Friday stream. We will be doing the prizes at the end. I didn't notice. Is the thing done? Oh no, we're on level 3 hype train now. All right. Well, I think 2 is kind of the sweet spot. They get to 2 and they stop. You gotta, unless you got some really big whales out there, you don't get to we don't finish level 3. That's good. I know one thing is David. I have to struggle to use the right name every time. David fixed a bug with Deco Pets. There's a bug where they could be duplicated if they were like, you get into a situation where the scene stays up and you pick them up and put them down and reload the scene and pick them up and put them down and reload the scene and pick them. You could actually duplicate them temporarily. Sir David. But anyways, he fixed that bug while he was in working on the training dummy, so that was also awesome. Let's see. Trying to remember what we've told you guys so far. I guess last time, since I saw you guys the last time, I also was in another guild meeting, which the BMC invited me to their guild meeting on Friday, and I got pulled a bunch of people into that, so we had, I don't know, maybe 20 or so people attend that in-game and then some more outside of game. But I think that was an interesting view into a large, organized, well-organized guild's process, that they actually get together once every quarter and go over prices for things in game so that they can set their prices, and people within the guild, watch these things to see what the prices should be for various gems and ingredients and those type things. So, whoa! All right. Well, so much for not making level 3 there. Apparently, Thori Kamara. That's Thoric Amara, who is the Iron Hall person here. You guys are so close. Oh, and it looks like level 3. All right. Well, you guys definitely can thank the governor of Iron Hall for that extra round there. You guys will be getting 3 extra rounds of prizes this time. And, Oh, but anyway, so the BMC, they go through once a quarter and they set their prices so that they try, so they're not competing within the guild with each other is kind of the guess of why they were doing that. But they want to make sure they have all the same prices throughout the guild so that people, they don't have people within the guild undercutting each other or starting price wars within the guild. So, but that sounds like one of those things that, they're doing to not be competitive, but they're totally open about it. And everyone's welcome to go to their guild meetings. Oh, I see a hero. Whoop. Except now you all vanish. Oh, now I just see hero. How is Hero's eye? I'm sure everybody wants to know. Are you there? Oh, you can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you.
So a year ago, Hero scratched his eye. He had a procedure done, but I guess there's maybe like a little bit of a weak spot or something because he scratched it again almost the same way this year. And so we had similar procedure done. The contact lens was put on. Kind of give him eye drops all the time. So he's doing okay. He's in the middle of the recovery period, and in a couple weeks he'll go back to the eye vet for reassessment. But he seems to be doing okay. He's not squinting or blinking a lot, which indicates he's uncomfortable or in pain. So he's not doing that so much. He just woke up from a nap, so he's probably looking for treats or something. He heard me talking. So anyway, he's doing all right.
All right, and Thoric, the person you have to thank for the extra round of prizes, also the governor here, was telling me to try out the other sections here. I think I mentioned last time that I liked how he had the town was spread out into chunks. So it doesn't feel like it's empty when you're in one of the town chunks, but it also doesn't lag or cause performance problems if you're someone who's on a low-end box.
It's kind of like how I like to build some scenes, and we were just talking about NPC towns.
Yep.
That it's nicer instead of to have like one continuous area to have like neighborhoods with like a buffer zone in between. So each neighborhood has its own feeling, its own maybe architecture, its own POI sense, place of interest, and then a little buffer so you know that you're moving from one area to another, so you have a sense of like space and direction. And then the next area has its own sort of like look and feel and utility. So it's a nice way to build.
Let's see. Oh, somebody's doing some roof gardening there. Yeah, that's actually, I'm doing the reworking the part of the Rise for this upcoming release, just adding some sections to it that are more modern level appropriate for stuff. The Rise was made for level 90 to 100 type people, so this the new section of the Rise is going to start at level 90 to 100 and go up from there. But I'm actually building out a ways. It starts from the throne room, or from the Lich chamber in the Rise past the library and continues from there. So that'll be the start of it, and I am trying to make some of it fairly sequential. But the Rise is not a super sequential dungeon. It's really kind of a branching, choose your own path and find your way to your camp type dungeon. I'm trying to model that too, just to make sure it's not a super, room A to room B to room C to room D, and every time it's the same thing. Trying to make it so there's branching some camps there. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be in for the next release. I may just have to block off parts of it. And thank you very much. Oh, and I need to go ahead and thank people. Oh no, we're still in the hype train. It's still level 4 hype train there. I won't shorten them there, but yeah, 40 seconds left, 11%. I think that's probably good. That's 3 extra rounds of prizes we will be doing. Also, before I forget, and before we jump into some of the questions, and do get some questions in there for us, and we will start going at those soon. I'd like to wish a certain Dark Star a happy birthday. Today is Star's birthday, so happy birthday to Star.
Happy birthday, Star.
I'm kind of cutting myself off there. Hold on. There we go. That's a little better. But, man, sorry, my brain is a little fried after a long week. And the hype train is over, so I'm going to go ahead and thank some people then, and then we'll start in with the questions. Let's see. I have people to thank there. Oh, very nice. Level 3. Thank you, Vooch. Thank you, Trilana, Merrick Dragon, Waldo Ptolemy, Pawn Aragon, with an interesting 399 bits. Thank you, Submarine Mike. Man, 1,000 bits coming after the wire there. Purely for the kindness of his out of his heart. Mad Chef of Xenos will be happy because I'm pretty sure we'll see. But I'm pretty sure Elgarion's going to have I forget what it is, like 23 new recipes coming in.
I think 23 is correct, yeah.
Do you know if he had those done yet? I didn't notice that they made it to QA. We're trying to keep QA up to date. We've been pushing builds when I can.
I don't know. I know he was working on them.
Yeah, he's a little under the weather. So we are hoping he's going to be fine. But he said he'd been under the weather for like a week. So hopefully he's nearly out of the weather. But anyways, I told him to just go to bed and see us next week. So, but he's got a while to finish it off. I think I mentioned it before. He's one of those guys I talk up a lot, but he is pretty mechanical, machine-like, it seems, for doing those tons of repetitive tasks. But that's one that he actually had to plan out ahead of time and have all the skills, because he wanted to make sure it was not yet another Band-Aid on top of the old one. He pretty much went and redid all those things. All of the recipes for food and stuff to try and make them feel like they'd been planned rather than evolved, because they really had just evolved, and made good use of the systems that I added in for the last minor food rework. But anyways, those should be in for the next release. This next release is officially a tick release, meaning that we're trying not to push any big content or big features. It's more of a primary thing is bug fixing and polish, and we're actually doing pretty good on that. There is going to be some new content, just not a ton of new content. No new full, completely new levels. I do plan on having the Rise rework done, so there will be some new challenges for players out there and some new items and artifacts. I'm also talking through with Elgarion to get some new stats, which may not mean much to you guys, but that's kind of when you look at a passive skill and you see that so-and-so gives +5 damage resist, or it gives plus crit chance, or plus damage avoidance, or attunement. Those are all things that we refer to as just stats. So I'm trying to get him some new stats that he can use for creation of new items, new recipes, and other things, so that he has some new ways to mix things up. And a couple of the ones that are going to be going in for that are going to be, one is going to be the idea of burnout. I think, is that the name we settled on, Sannio?
Damon liked hyperfocus.
Hyperfocus?
But its name is still being workshopped.
I'll describe it to you guys, and then we'll put it up for vote, and you guys can vote on it.
Yeah.
So here's the stat. Here's basically what the stat does. Is it's a stat that increases damage. At least the first one's going to be magic only. But it increases damage, but at a much higher rate, and it increases focus cost. So the idea is maybe it'll be an item or an effect or a spell or a stance that gives you 10% more spell damage across the board, but at the cost of 50% more focus. So Arcane Augur. So what would you guys call that? I was trying to come up with an overpowering something or burnout, and I never could really find the right description for that. Focus Channeler. Hocus Focus? No, that's not going in.
That's funny.
But yeah, the idea is that, and this is one of the things I've been working on again for these little tick releases, I'm trying to get in more balanced stuff. And one of the things I've been looking at is tracking people, what they do with their focus, whether focus really, lack of focus really plays a major factor. And that's kind of the long-term thing I've seen is there's a really, and we talked about how we got to it yesterday actually on our team chat, but there's a really bad balance in terms of focus use. At low levels, you can actually run out of focus, and it's hard to get. At high levels, for most people, focus is kind of a non-factor. You don't even think about it. It's like you'd be shocked if you ran out of focus. There's some exceptions to that, but not too many. It varies a lot by build. I've continued over time to pump up the cost of focus for things like AEs, especially have higher focus. But of course, the real challenge comes from a few decisions that were made early on. One of which was very much a Richard thing, trying to stick with ultimate isms of making food. I think the original plan was to make food required. No food, you die. So that wasn't really something that would fly in the long run for mass market or more mass market game. But we did make food. Kind of the compromise was to make food very powerful, make it so it restores a lot. Well, we kind of got to a point where, like, if you're high level, you just can't play without food. But food ends up being so powerful that focus quits being a major factor with it. So the food ends up being super powerful, but at the early levels, you don't really have much food, or you have trivial food. You find apples on carts or on tables or whatever, and you take them. But that's one of the things I'm trying to take a pass at is, again, every release, not every release, but many releases, I take a pass at trying to improve the focus balance so that focus feels like it's a factor. Right now it's not a factor, so it's not really something you can make players make a choice. In a perfect world, we'd have it all pretty much better balanced so that when you're casting spells, you're making a choice as to cast spell A or cast B that uses a lot more focus, but then you'd be low on focus. Right now it's really just, well, I'm always going to use B because I'm never low on focus. So trying to improve that. This skill is kind of another inching in that direction of trying to make focus something that people think about, but there's also going to be a little work. I think some focus cost on some spells are probably going to go up. But I think the other thing that's going to happen that I came up as probably needs to happen is just increasing the initial focus regen. So newbies, new players, is newbie considered derogative? I'm not quite sure.
I use it. I don't know if it is.
All right.
Maybe some players might not like it, but it seems pretty neutral to me.
Well, anyway, so new players don't struggle as much with focus. And also by doing that, by increasing that focus, but increasing the focus cost of a lot of different things, it kind of levels out. It raises the bar for what your focus regen is, so it dilutes the focus regen of having a bunch of foods up there, but then you're raising the focus cost of everything on there. And again, some of this is we don't want to feel like people are less powerful, but we need to, we want them to be powerful, but maybe have to think about how they use their power sometime. Right now, they really just don't. But newbie is nicer than noob. Yeah, new player.
By the way, we should probably say share the phrase and all that business so people can say the phrase.
Do you have that handy? I see people saying it in chat all over the place. Spring is in. Oh no, is it spring?
Spring has sprung?
Spring has sprung. Not spring is in the air. Spring has sprung, right? Is that right? Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung. And you can say it in the in-game chat to enter. But there's two ways. What's the other way? You can buy something.
You can buy something online. Yeah, buy
store.
From the Crown store.
Right. Or
not from the Crown store. From the Coda store. We should make it the Crown store too. That's another one we probably should just make it so you can buy it from the Crown store. And we'll get some people who accidentally get entered, not even knowing the stream is going on.
The easy way is just to say it not in the Twitch chat, but in the in-game chat for Shrine of the Avatar.
All right, I got some questions here. I'll paste them up for you.
And when you say it, you get it added to a list of possible candidates who could win awesome prizes related to Shroud the Avatar.
All right, there's some questions for you.
Oh, I see.
See if you have any of those. Let's see. Pretty please fix Epic Quiver of Jealousy. It goes from 0.2 draw speed at Legendary to 0.1 draw speed at Epic. The same as Common. I've cried myself to sleep every night. Well, you might need some therapy or counseling or something if that gets you to cry to sleep. But I will fix that right after the stream. I fixed a couple of those last time. I know I fixed the lead gauntlets and some others that people brought up, so I will fix those. Those are pretty easy ones to fix if you just let me know. Let's see. I placed the new circling dragon spawners, and the dragons spawn in an empty area of my town, not near the spawner. Is this by design? I don't think it is. That is actually one that I helped a little bit with, but that's almost entirely Elgarion creating those, including the idea for those things. So I used them, I tested them out, and they seem to be pretty much above me. They do have a pretty large roam area. I didn't feel like they spawned in an empty part of the town. We can definitely look at that. Maybe I can have...
how long did you keep an eye on it? Did
Yeah.
it sort of like eventually correct itself and loop around to a spot where you thought was good? Or did it stay way offset? I guess would be the big question.
Yeah, I put up a handful of them in my town, like testing each color to make sure they worked. And it's actually, I haven't picked them up, and every time I go in to test something now, I forget they're there, and then I'll like forget until like the shadow of a dragon flies like straight over me, zoom, and then it wakes me up. Yeah, those are cool. If it is not flying over, it should be flying roughly over where the spot where you place it. So we can definitely check that out though. Only gave it about 5 minutes. Yeah, it should. I mean, they use. Those are using it's a flocking system, so that they try to avoid running into things. Maybe, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is maybe they found something they were colliding with over the spot you put them in. But we can definitely take a look at them. I think didn't those just go live today? We definitely should, definitely get a better bug check on them. But we have tested them. I personally tested them in our dev town, so I know they're working. But yeah, there may be a few little tweaks here or there that need to be fixed up on them. All right.
See a question from Lord Arak. It says, treat the Z index on the Mistrender Island to get a look over. What's wrong with it? I would need to know what you're seeing that could be wrong with it for me to look it over.
I have one here that I want to bring up just so I can read it out loud and get some feedback from people. I see Dinharu live. Is there any update you can share regarding the issue with RTX 30 series cards and sudden low frame rates? I know a couple people mentioned some problem. I think maybe it was Eileen Dragonfire was having some problem that her frame rate suddenly went bad, but I don't even know if she has a 3000 series card. I don't. I have a 2060. If you see me playing here, I'm on a NVIDIA 2060. Not a horrible card, but I tried to pick something that's kind of mid-level. Just so I'm not playing on the absolute best thing now. Dinharu Live. Oh, the 20 series. Well, I'm playing on the 20. Like I said, I'm on a 2060. I haven't seen anything. Let's see. Vesper on a 3080 says, I tanked below 10 series, or below 10, all of a sudden, semi-frequently. Wow, below 10 FPS on a 3080. That's no good. Yeah, I can't say that I've simulated that. Is there some, is it a combat thing? Is it just walking through towns? Is it... Need more information. Yeah, I definitely have not reproduced that on a 2060, just randomly, huh? Yeah, I'm not sure of anything that's going on. We definitely haven't changed anything graphically in quite a while. Like, there's been no shader changes. That's kind of the thing that would cause a problem with that. We haven't changed anything that really impact memory use dramatically, or nothing that really that could do it. But that's not to say that something hasn't changed. This is not me saying that's not happening. It's more likely a graphics driver problem, that they changed something on their graphics driver. They optimized it or did something that broke it. But yeah, I'm not aware. If I can get some more information. The Lacedonian, my issue with the 2070 Super is low GPU usage, around 60%. Yeah, that'll vary a lot depending on what your situation is in terms of how much GPU you use. Because we do not make full use of CPU. Most of the rendering pipeline on Unity is fairly single-threaded. So if you look at your CPU, we'll usually be using, depends a lot on your GPU and just the general setup. We'll usually be using about 2 to 4 cores. I've seen it go a little higher than that in some situations, but not too much higher. But yeah, so if you're using low GPU, that just means the CPU side of things are not keeping up. And again, that'll vary a lot by the scene you're in. Some scenes we have, the biggest problem we have in POTS, if you wonder on POTS and what the performance draw is, there's a number of things in POTS that's costly. The two primary things, one is the lights, having a lot of dynamic lights, but we do limit those things. If performance starts dropping, I'm not having performance problems here, so it's not dropping lights. But if you have performance problems, you'll see like fewer lights are actually active at a time or casting shadows. We slowly go through and we in the background track bad performance. We'll start turning off shadows on lights further away. But the other thing that's probably more common, it's really just more of a multiplier. Both these things are multipliers, the lights. And the other one is just a massive number of small items for decos. And of course, we don't render all those things all the time, but just the managing of the, literally some areas, tens of thousands of items that have been placed as decos. And that's done on the rendering side, even though that they're in there and we've got everything, they've got LODs and that type stuff. So, but those two things kind of multiply. They both just increase complexity and figuring out what it needs to do. But I'm trying to think what could cause a problem with it suddenly dropping in frame rate. That's odd. Duke Gregor says 2080 rock solid, no reboots ever needed. Yeah, I'm 2060, and I haven't seen any of those problems. You guys probably play in longer stretches than I play, even when we do like our team playthrough on Friday. I actually didn't join in today, but I usually join in, but I only play with the group for the first 10 minutes, and I see something I feel I have to immediately stop and go fix. That's kind of the story of my life, is playing for the game for a while, but I don't get to play for hours because I always see things. It's like, I can fix that. I can go and fix it right now and make the game better. It makes it tough to stay in the game for long periods of time. But yeah, that's the first I've really heard about the 20 cards being a problem.
I got a question from the Mad Chef of Xenos.
Go ahead.
Have you considered a daily quest or scene quest involving cooking, maybe a time part fetch/crafting quest for random rare ingredients? So one answer is no. I haven't thought about daily quests, but related to cooking. But I have been coordinating with Elgarion to add some cooking rewards to existing daily quest rewards. So I did a little bit of reworking how the rewards are offered from daily quest, and I brought Elgarion into it and showed him how he can add in new rewards to them. And so he's going to be doing that. So if you're looking for just sort of some of the rare cooking bits, then they will actually come with some of the daily rewards that we have. Most of the daily rewards that will pop up. So hopefully that helps with what you were looking for.
And then Haru just gave some more information that he has two machines. One with a 1070 Ti that doesn't have the problem, and a newer rig that has a 2070 Super. He has to restart his client 2 to 3 times per game session. Yeah, that's confusing. I can go look and check for, I can go search for 20 people running 2070 cards and 2080 cards. That's something we track. And we do performance logs, and we log your video card in those performance logs. So, yeah, I'll take a look at that. I think we might log your video card driver. I'm not sure if we do or not. Like what specific version. I know we log your card. I just don't know if we log which video card driver you're on. Yeah, and it seems it's very between the different people. It's some people are having it, some people are not. So, as a dev, those are the ones I really love when even the players aren't able to reproduce it consistently. But I will look into that. But that sounds problematic, especially if you have a really nice video card and you have to play on your worst video card because the other one craters. But sometimes that'll happen, and me just knowing some specific person who's having it, like looking up yours, Dinharu. Sometimes I can look and it'll be like, here's like some exception gets logged, and then after that your frame rate goes to poo. The only fix for it might be to restart, so I can look for that type of thing. All right, did you pick any questions off the list? If not, I've got some over here.
I got another one, also from Mad Chef of Xenos. Might we see a follow-up to the Christian Dupre Duck Quest in episode 2? So the Duck Quest was added at special request of Richard Garriott. There wasn't any intent to follow it up with anything. It was sort of a standalone situation. However, I do have. I want some of the episode 1 completed quest and storyline and situations. I want some of them to sort of have to track over to some episode 2 interactions. For example, you saved the Titans. Spoiler, but the whole Titan situation is resolved in episode 1, but in episode 2, I want to have at least some lip service for some Titans. I'd actually kind of like some interaction with some of the Titans as a follow-up. It'll be a little tricky because I don't want to necessarily have... Currently, I don't want to have the storyline for episode 2 contingent on you finishing episode 1 until the very end. So I would sort of have to account for both situations. So besides the Titans, there are some sort of like prominent characters that I would like to sort of call back to. So Christian Dupre wasn't one that I was thinking of, but I could the Kartukin, I forgot her last name, Kartukin? I don't know how to say it, but Jana and her sister, have them as well. So some of the prominent NPCs from episode 1, I'd sort of like to have callbacks to in some way in episode 2. So potentially Christian is part of it. So there you go.
All right, and thanks to Upa the Veil for pointing me to the bug. 68713 is the bug number there. Yeah, and the bug is on someone who's running the same CPU I run, with 128 gigs of RAM and a 24 gig NVIDIA Titan, and they're seeing the problem. So that'll be a good one to start looking at there. And yeah, hopefully if I can find them, I can track down, see if there's any exceptions or things that might lead to it. And also, we usually, when these things happen, again, it's usually a specific video card driver issue, and it'll show up in the forums. But I'll try and take a look at that, because yeah, 128 gigs of RAM. Everybody needs that, right? Let's see. Going back to questions over here, I've got some more for you.
Okay. Also, remember to say spring has sprung in the in-game chat to get on the list for potential prizes for the pricing.
I think I got a few more people to thank here. Let me do that while I'm about to go over to that stuff there. Thank you, Pipester, for the sub. TV has followed. Thank you there. Lovely Wivet, thank you for the raid. Brazen Spirituality, thank you for the bits. Submarine Mike, woo, 1,000 bits. Thank you. And I see Pipester saying they're still getting by with a 970M. Yes, the new programmer, David, joined us. And he was trying to play the game in the editor on his video card, and said it was nearly unplayable. I had to ask him, and he had like is it an Intel 745 or an NVIDIA 745? I could just tell it was a card that it's not officially supported, but he actually bought a new video card just so he could help, and said that the game runs like glass now, so he's super excited. I don't even think he got that good of a video card, like a 1060 or something. Anyways, back to questions over here. I see Vesper Soda says archery is a bug. It's important. Continuing to nudge archery again, trying not to nerf archery, but to bring other stuff up. Nerf archery a little bit for some specific instances, like for some PvP points. Just again, it's archery more than any other has a lot of one-hit type kill stuff, which is not fun. So trying to fix that aspect of it. I don't think that archery is super OP. It is super convenient. Is I think the thing that's more powerful about it. Casters, AE casters still rule the day, but they do it. They have to work a little bit harder, not even that much harder. But archers, it's just kind of easy mode in a lot of ways compared to a tank or somebody down there. Their actual DPS is not higher against multiple targets than a lot of the other melee classes. Definitely lower than magic, like fire and some others. But we're truly trying to bring some other stuff up. Fire's got to come down probably a little bit. And that maybe we bring that down a little bit just through, again, adjusting focus use, so it's actually something you have to think about. And archery probably needs a few little nudges, but we're trying to bring other stuff to be, bring it up to their level, or at least roughly close to their level. So let's see. Waldo Ptolemy says, is anything going to be done to let players who solo be able to learn anywhere near how much experience the control point groups can? That one's a tough one. We've got a lot of stuff in there to try to encourage grouping.
Yeah.
There's a pretty big experience bonus. I think people know that. And the control points, that's one of the things we've actually slowed down over time slightly. And we try to do it a little bit so it doesn't completely push people out of areas. Although I've seen it has pushed people out of some of the areas we've gone and touched. But just slowing down the between the waves. Because obviously having a big group, the advantage is you get an experience bonus because you're in a group. You can still, everybody contribute massive amounts of damage, so you kill stuff really quick. But that only really matters if you're in a space that just has unlimited spawns. Unlimited number of things to kill. And we're trying to slow down that spawn train coming out a little bit so that the experience per hour drops a little bit, because again, we always have our targets for things and you guys are always way above them. So we've done that slowly over time, but yeah, that solo is still not really competitive. Yeah, it's tough to come up with a solution for that other than bringing down the other guys, because we can't really, we could It's one I haven't thought about that much, just honestly because it's not really something we try to encourage as much as grouping. I feel that grouping is a pretty important factor in the game, but I do understand sometimes you get on, there's two groups out there, and one's in Superstition Canyon and one is in Well of Alder, and you're not in the mood for either of those, and you actually want to go do something on your own, like go to the Rise or go to some other map and solo. And
yeah, there's actually a lot more moving parts than just solo versus group there.
Yeah.
It's how efficient is the group? What abilities are they using? Where are they doing it? How big is the group versus solo?
I see someone saying tartar sauce. Yeah, tartars is another good one I see people soloing there. I saw there's one question in here that came up. I read it as it came across. It's probably lower down the sheet. They're asking if I track where people play. And I keep a big chart up of where people play. How much time is spent in different places and how much rewards. I track both by, minutes played, and then also by creature kills, and I have another one that is by experience earned. And I absolutely look at that and try to massage that out. It is, as you would expect, it is very much a big. I'm not even sure if you can see my finger. I'm trying to find where the camera is. It's not a linear thing. It's 90% of the actual adventure time, if you eliminate all the towns and pots. 90% of the time. Oh, and you exclude newbie, like the starting areas. 90% of the time is spent in one of about 10 maps, which you guys can probably all name. It's some control point stuff. Well of Alder. The Rise, the Fall.
Ravensborn.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's something I do try and smooth. I do try and get that move people around. But again, we know what it's one of the things we talk about is what's drawing people to different scenes, and trying to make those draws spread them around. Actually, the changes that Elgarion made with some of his loot stuff actually spread people out quite a bit. It's amazing that you can see just having some unique loot that drops in some of those places where you really, need to go farm and try to find some stuff and hunt the right type of creature. Even just that one couple of changes spread people out noticeably on the charts. So, hold on. Also, I have not tracked down the AFK issue. I know some people get booted in AFK. It's one of those things I've tried to get booted in AFK. It is not easy, and I have not figured out what the special sauce is. If you guys ever figure out what the special sauce is, let me know. But I have not been able to have it happen. It's one of those things I look at the code paths for it, and I don't see any way it should be happening at this point. So right now I'm looking for some special sauce. I did just put out the release this morning. That's one of the things. I get booted all the time, AFK. What's your magic? I've tried it. Here's the things I've tried. I've tried it being the only guy in a scene. I'm the only guy who's ever been in the scene. I don't get booted. Tried going to a pot where someone else is in the pot and stays. I don't get booted there. If the person leaves the pot, I don't get booted then.
Are you playing multiplayer online?
Multiplayer online.
Party only? Or?
Yep. Playing multiplayer online. It's. Say Bridge Troll says he gets booted in Owl's Head all the time. Yeah, I can see the logs, and I see that's still one of the top ways players lose their connections. They get booted from the game, and that's one of the things I'm trying to clear up. Tried spinning in place for 23 seconds and jumping up halfway. That may be the magic there. I do not do that, but I will try that next time. But again, I've run it multiple times, and it's also one of those things, as I've been trying to tell David, the new programmer. Some bugs are easy. Some bugs are the ones where it only happens when you don't have a debugger connected, or you don't run in the dev client, or you don't do,
So Graceful Bard points out that wonders if it might be private property related, and says, I get booted in a dungeon. So maybe that's a part of the factor, like if you're in someone else's property or your own property.
Maybe. I mean, it's kind of the other thing, is it's not just me who doesn't get booted. I see players who are idle for more than 2 days straight without getting booted.
But are they like out in the wilderness? I don't know.
No, they're in
not
pods.
on a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if they're on a lot. I mean, I can go start tracking that type of stuff too. It's just tough to figure out where to throw the darts and what stuff I'm logging. So
that kicks them or overwhelms them and forces them out somehow.
All right, well, let's get to some more questions here, and I think I've got some more questions for you. Let's see.
I see one, Meneliki asks, what are the odds of revamping avatar creation? Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but there aren't any plans to revamp the whole thing. Every once in a while, we do go back to early areas, make some notes, make some small incremental changes, improvements. So some of that might happen. I don't think there's anything on the schedule right now for that. I will say that we did a little bit of a team play today through Solar Spurs Outskirts. We do this kind of thing once in a while, and we take some notes and we make some changes to improve the area. For example, there's a quest in Solar Spurs Outskirts where you have to get ore and wood, and it's first wood, then ore, then feathers. And there are certain places you can get that, but we added, based on our own feedback and player feedback, we added some extra trees and ore nodes and opportunities for feathers, including the bandits and some zombies in the area. You could loot some of those things from them. So we do improve quality right there, things like that. So hopefully that'll help your concerns for the early game, but it's not specific to avatar creation like we asked.
And what he said, there's the avatar creation. the things we try to look at is we try to look at what things we can do to make the game more sticky. And it's really hard to measure the stickiness of players, but we don't think we have that much of a problem getting to the end of the starting level right now. We've been making changes, and I don't know that the actual, changing stuff in the first level or in the first 15 minutes of gameplay is going to help things that much more. But it's just a bang for our buck in terms of development time. We've got to balance the whole, we want to get more players to stick and get into the game versus the whole keeping you guys happy and keeping in-game content, getting them to stick long-term rather than stick for an hour.
We do talk about little things like it'd be cool to have some extra hairstyles and hair colors and things like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Some smaller stuff. It's not a revamp, but it would be improvements because they're additions that I think players will enjoy. But they're not on the schedule right now.
Laney commented on Team Chat, the booting from game while AFK only happens to me when I'm on my own lot in a pot. Again, it's so hard to tell on these things, and the repro time on these things is really hard. And all I can do is go and sit on a lot and try these things myself. So that's again why I'm trying to get more logging into the game, more logging in on some of these type events. Let's see. I'd say Azazel Reborn says, Tartarus level 3, can you please speed up the wave battle? It's taking 7 to 10 minutes between each wave before the boss spawn. Yeah, I can go take a look at that. That's another one of those fights I wanted to make some improvements to. It's got its own unique loot already, which is, I'm sure, one of the reasons people go there. But yeah, I want to take a couple passes on that to make that fight a little more interesting. So I'll mark that as one to look at here. And yeah, that is one of the more played areas. One of the top 10 time spent areas. But it's not one of the top 10 experience point areas. So I don't mind giving that a little nudge to speed things up. Actually, I think it is in the top 10 experience points, but it's not anywhere near the most OP one. Let's see. Any future plans for the Dread artifacts from Krazuka? What do you think? I see them. That's especially I went to the BMC meeting. Everybody was all dressed up in their royal garb, and everybody is, of course, wearing Dread artifacts. As I went and flew around the room, I know that there's some bugs, some features that people want in them. Do we have any big plans? Do you have any big plans
for Dread artifacts? No.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the things I've looked at is taking the Dread artifacts. You can't. They're not patterned right now, I don't think. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would probably ask Algarion about that. I don't think he has plans, but I couldn't say that he hasn't been thinking about it. So maybe he's got some thoughts on it. He'd be a good guy to talk to about it. Because he's just super into the crafting thing and patterns and artifacts and all that stuff lately. He's big into it, so maybe he's got some thoughts. I don't think we'd want to change it too much because as Dread artifacts, they're these ultimate storyline gear items. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't want to say that they should never be updated because it's a cool thing in our game to allow you to upgrade your weapons.
Yep. I'd love to see them be upgradable, as in you have the Dread artifact and that's the starting point. But kind of like with other artifacts, you can increase its power somehow.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do. I don't remember how it works, but do that thing where an item can look like one way and actually be a different way. I wouldn't want your, the crown to be a cape all of a sudden. It should always be a crown.
Oh, that reminds me. I'm trying to make sure I don't say the wrong thing here. I think Beezus, one of the things he's adding for this release, even though it's a tick release, not a talk release, is craftable belts. So not right now, all the belts that are in there are artifact type belts. He's actually adding craftable belts so that there can be some competition in those categories.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Submarine Mike says, why is Blades the worst skill in the game? Well, that feels a little trolly to me. I don't think it's the worst skill in the game. It's definitely not on top. Considering when you think of fantasy stuff like, blade, swords is, right there.
Dinsu says blades
Dinsu
is best.
says best.
So it's subjective. Eric Rule says I'm blades.
I don't. Blades are not the top. I would think. I've not scrutinized them too closely. Recently, Vesper says it's not the worst. It's the second worst in PvP, though. Now that I could believe. What happens? What's the best in PvP versus non-PvP is absolutely a totally different ballgame. But Blades, I would think, is one of the better. I think it's better than Bludgeon, and I think it's better than Polearm. I think Polearm probably is a little more desirable, but again, coup de grace. You can't beat coup de grace.
Wouldn't it also be affected by the weapon you have? So as some people find better ways to have better weapons, wouldn't that sort of adjust the needle a little bit? It
does a little bit, but primarily the skills define the melee. Yeah. And polearm's different. Pugilism is the current meta, they say. But yes, I did want to mention that the whole thing on the belts. I'm sure that'll get some people excited and get some more crafters going. Let's see. DWWP, you answered that one already. If you accidentally said spring is sprung, talking to the NPC, will you still be entered? Yeah, you don't even have to talk to an NPC. You can be in your basement, and all you do is say it out loud to the, local or public.
Any chat, even like whisper, right? If you whisper it.
Yeah. And of course, if you really want to join in the other players out there, you can troll people just by saying it over the public channel or over the universe channel, so that everyone has to hear you.
Mad Chef of Xenos, this wasn't a question, but the Mad Chef points out the public vendor in Sultan will help with the sticky. Back when we were talking about sticky early game. So for those people who don't know it, there's now a public vendor in Sultan. There's like a little booth along the street in the center of the town with a public vendor.
All right, hold on. Trying to unblock the prisoning.
Okay.
The prisonings must flow.
I got another one from Mad Chef. I'll answer. Mad Chef has a lot that relate to my stuff. So the Mad Chef of Xenos says the Well of Alder has some cool platforming aspects to it, but there's no risk of jumping around. For those who don't know, if you jump, like say off one of the floating islands, there's a gimmick where you will be caught by a safety gimmick that'll teleport you back up to that island or the nearest island. And then the Mad Chef asks, might we see a more dangerous platforming scene, maybe in the PvP scene, where a spell like Gust, used by players or air elementals, can potentially be a fatal attack if landed? So we don't have any specific scenes like that in mind, but Chris has mentioned he wants to have a canyon scene, a big mining scene in the episode 2 Mistrender areas. I think potentially that could be great for that. Also, I've mentioned that I've been currently working on a scene called the Obsidian Panopticon, which will be kind of a prison scene. And I haven't shared the look of it, but what it essentially is a big canyon, and then in the middle of the canyon will be an Obsidian Elf prison that is multi-levels, and the levels are sort of held together by chains, and the chains hold the whole thing up to the top of the canyon, so the whole thing is sort of like floating. And potentially, I guess you could sort of get close to the edge of the canyon, or if you're reckless and you try and sort of like run along the chains from the canyon wall down to the prison, potentially you can sort of have some of the situation you're talking about. So we don't have a scene that's specifically geared toward that, but there are opportunities that are coming up that you might like. I keep in mind too, we don't usually have a lot of like really tall vertical scenes, but sometimes we do, and I kind of try to not put bad guys too close to edges like that, but I'll try to make sure that they can be close enough that you can pull them close to it, or they can follow you close to it. So there you go.
Still fighting with pricing in here, and we're overtime, but that's fine.
Yeah. The fall has water that breaks your fall, and everyone fights at the bottom. Oh, yeah, so
Yeah.
you can get pushed off, but you might not die.
Yeah, the fall was actually the level I started, but Travis made it not suck. But yeah, my whole idea for it was, an area where there would be super high up in the air ramps, PvP, but you could jump, but there's also so many other ramps and things below that you got to be careful when you jump and know where to jump, or else you're going to hit some platform halfway down and splatter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still do like that mechanic. That's
actually
at least the current thing I've got going for the Rise. Whoop.
It's kind of funny. We've been talking a lot behind the scenes about falling, like how far should you be allowed to fall without taking damage or without killing yourself. And there's definitely a scale of us devs behind the scene. Like some are like, current fall is fine. If you fall like 30 feet, you should be dead. And others say, no, you should be able to fall 40 or 50 feet and barely be dead. Be like 1 point.
Except Travis, who thinks you should be able to fall an infinite distance.
Well, some games let you do that, but I don't think that would be right for our game.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, we sort of have we're okay with like a range of what you should fall to die, but that range is a little big, so we sort of have discussions about going back and forth about what's good. I'm a little bit like, I kind of want you to fall to your death early as a level designer and a guy who does a lot of teach the player this kind of a guy, because I want you somewhere early in the game. There should be things that happen that have repercussions that you learn important stuff from. So you should kind of die early in the game somehow. You should kind of fall early sometime and maybe die, but or take a lot of damage, so you realize that, there's a certain distance that I'm allowed to fall. And it'd be kind of cool if you could fall into water and like, I can fall into water and I won't die. So I can use this to my advantage sometimes if I'm escaping or just trying to get back home real fast. Things like that. So that's my perspective. Travis's is a little different perspective, and Chris has his own perspective. So everyone's got their own thoughts.
I saw someone mention the canyon scene I'm working on. It hasn't been a year. I started working on it in June of last year. But it is one of those things I put aside just because a new scene would be great. But that was also kind of when we realized really the money, where we need to be spending our time, or we should be spending our money on, is fixing bugs and polishing existing stuff rather than me spending a bunch of time, because in the time it takes me to finish a map, especially an outdoor map, I could fix 20 or 30 of your most annoying bugs.
And there's a lot of stuff that Chris is going to fix that me and some of the other guys can't even touch. Whereas he makes a map, like we have a couple other people can make maps. Eventually at a certain point, depending upon the timetable, maybe Travis or somebody will be able to come in and sort of like cross coordinate with Chris on that canyon map, and Chris can continue focusing on the stuff that only he can work on.
Yeah, and also on that, again, we just brought on the new full-time programmer, one and only. I think people probably are familiar with his own personal tragedy type stuff, but he's actually contacted me back and said that he's kind of to a place now where he can get back and be active again with the project. So we should be getting a lot more programming time and getting some of these annoying things fixed. So I'm not sure we're going to add jousting just yet. I know there are some people putting together some jousting fields out there. But yeah, I'm still working on I still have the chromatic canyons that's half-finished map for Mist Render that is basically it's a canyon map that is carved out. It's extremely large, but it's really just a slot canyon that branches with a lot of mining opportunities and a lot of patrols, a lot of Kobold type stuff, action going on with their tech stuff going on. But again, I stopped working on it too much because I know there's other things that really need to be finished or need to be fixed before I should spend my time on that. Let's see. Alphane has a question. Is it possible to get triangle blocks?
Like for lot placement, I guess?
I think they mean like triangle blocks for like placing deco, like blocks.
Yeah, because we have the cube blocks.
Trying to think what problems that would run into. And is that like a vertical, like a pyramid? Huh. That's interesting.
No,
I'm trying to think why he would want that.
Maybe it's a three-sided. Flat on top, flat on the bottom, and then three sides that the avatar can see at his height.
Let's see. Coswell Dirthmeyer asks, any hint at some of the upcoming salvage changes? I've got some that I want, but Elgarion is actually the one doing them. A couple of the ones that I want to make deal more with some of the combined artifacts, and like combining the artifacts to get up to like a epic level, and what happens if you salvage that. Right now you just get more essences out of it than you would have the others. But I'm still of the... this has been fixed, by the way, as I see a carrot. Is that a carrot? Yeah, so it's a deer spawner. That is... David fixed that. It's one thing you want to make sure that it floats. So it no longer floats. But yeah, so the stuff I want is actually taking a look at that stuff to make it so rather than salvaging a leveled up artifact and getting back just essences, that you actually get back a certain number at the lower level. You get back 3 of the lesser artifacts. This has come up because people have, that's one of the things they've requested is, they want to be able to break it down so they can have 2 of something or, split them up between their alts. So, but I know that Elgarion has a bunch of ideas and plans for salvaging, and Beezus does as well, and those guys are actually working together now, which is awesome. We're probably going to lose Beezus for a couple weeks here, so I'm not sure what he's going to have, and that's because he is moving. He is moving to be closer to, since we're all work from home these days, he actually lives pretty close to central Austin, and he's moving to be closer to family just like 20 miles south of here. Not like moving to Kentucky or something. But anyways, they just finished buying a house, and they're in the process of selling a house. So he's already warned me he's going to be out of pocket for a bit. But yeah, I know they've got lots of plans. I don't have the specific stuff, and I've been trying to... Elgarion's been doing such an amazing job. I'm trying not to micromanage on that stuff. So we'll have him on the stream again soon. Again, he was just feeling not great last week, so I told him to take time off and get away. Let's see. Lord Eric, can someone take a look at the tux pattern and see why it won't apply? Yeah, it seems like an easy one. I'll see if... I'll just paste that to the channel. Oh, and I do have the prizes ready to go.
Nice. All the prizes? All, was it 5 of them? Or how many are you doing?
Let's see. Oh, no.
It's like there's 5.
I have 5. Yes, they completed thanks to the generosity of Thoric O'Mara, the governor of Ironhall, which I think they do have some openings here if you want to come check them out. That's what I've been running around here, is Ironhall. Right here. Speaking of which, thanks to his generosity, we're doing 3 extra, so we have 5 to go to today. Let me look down and see if there's any super important ones for me to answer here. All your questions are usually pretty good. But since we're running low on time and I got a hungry 6, soon to be 7-year-old, St. Patrick's Day is not just St. Patrick's Day, it is also Maxine's birthday. So you can look forward to that. I will be doing a few things that have made Damon groan, that I will be doing for St. Patrick's Day. Damon being the lead artist. Yes, Keith knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
It seems totally appropriate to me, so... yeah, so look forward to some St. Patrick's Day celebration stuff. Let's see. Shadow Vice asks, could there be an option to rotate a house on a lot? This is one of those things that is a lot tougher than it seems. Actually, moving a house around in position we've looked at this a few times, and every time we start in on it, we end up backing it out. There's a lot of complexity that comes with it. Some is just from the nav mesh, but then there's a lot of other fitting stuff and like having to handle like a million different cases for all the different houses. It ends up being one of those things that would be a lot of work per house to set up a bunch of boundaries and rules for it. So we have not taken that on. It absolutely could be done. It's just one of those things in terms of the benefit to the work for it. We've decided it's not the best thing to do right now. Irish Eye says, are we getting the lava grottos? You probably will. That's when you can start hitting up Ravalox on. His life, he said, has started to settle down a little bit, and he's actually been taking part in things again. And as many people know, that's the whole thing. He joined us almost, I think it's been close to a year. It hasn't quite been a year. But he's been with us for 9 months or something like that, and was to largely try and help with dungeon stuff. And making those type of like grottos and other fishing holes in dungeons and fixing up some of that stuff. So let's see. All right. Well, I think probably we've got enough stuff here to wrap up, and we're already 15 minutes over. So I think I'm going to stop there. There's a few people in here reporting specific item bugs and issues. I'll try and get to some of those. I think I got to most of the ones you guys reported last time. But lots of good questions here today. Again, patch went out this morning, but not too much in that. The big stuff's coming, including training dummy and a bunch of other stuff will be coming on Thursday after next, so 13 days from now.
The training dummy one is actually kind of exciting, I think. I don't think it'll affect a lot of players, but it's kind of nice.
Well, I heard some of the use cases that people are trying to use it to help like new players, and it's like it's completely broken. I can't even help like new players. So that's one of those things that I knew was when I started hearing it frustrates that type of stuff. Again, it's one of those things I figured training dummies, or you use the training dummy. What's the problem there? 99% of the time, it's going to do what you want. But once I had someone sit down and explain it, my fish just splashed me. Did you guys hear that? He hit the back of my chair with water.
He's excited about the training dummies.
And then as I see that and I got splashed with water here that actually got my shirt wet, I realized I've got multiple servers sitting right behind me that he could just as easily splash. I probably should make sure and always close their thing completely. But anyways, let's do the give away some prizes here. And where did it go? And wrap things up a little bit, and I will let you guys get back to it. So I've got a bunch of to-dos on me already, including the trying to figure out what's up with the video cards. Again, as we saw in the chat, some people had really good video cards and had the problem. Some people had really good video cards and did not have the problem with the exact same card, which is always one of those that I absolutely love. I will look for some common things. Sometimes these things are... some people have it, some don't, and we've seen this in the past where occasionally it's something as weird as female characters have the problem, male characters don't. Or only players who have this item equipped, or only players who frequently go into a scene that has this one particular item that causes some exception. And some players always get it and some don't. Well, some of that depends on the pot that they're in or the player house where they start. Always has one of those items and they end up having a problem. So again, there's a million different little things that can go wrong, but I will try and take a look to see if I can spot any exceptions or errors that are showing up in the logs that the people are having that, because that may give me a hint. All right, you want to do names or prizes?
I will do the prizes.
All right, go for it. I'm ready. We're going to call off the prize, and then we will call off the not 2, not 3, not 4, but thanks to Governor of Ironhall, Thoric O'Mara, you will be getting 5. I'm pretty sure that at least one of those is completely on him and his generosity. So thank you. Go for it. Read off a name or a
prize. So the
prize.
first prize is ornate bagpipes.
Those go to Freyr Grimmer, Bridge Troll, Tarot Lane, Hillier de Roque, and Gwendolyn Obscuro of the Obscuro family.
The second prize is the Brown Plague Doctor mask.
And these could go either way. Could be Taja or Taha. Merrick Dragon, that only goes one way. Spherical Longclaw. Vesper. Asmodi Mahul. Congratulations, guys.
The third prize number 3, is the Gothic Large Candelabra 3-pack.
Goes to Coswald Dirthmeyer. Sarandu. Royu. Sean Silverfoot, a name, he seems to win a lot of prizes. But I get to call his name a lot. Nice calling his name. And also Charnley Insall.
Nice. I'm ready to announce the third one, which is the Ornate Moondial.
Goes to Lillian Crosley. Charnley Insall, we are letting people win too, just because we've got a lot of prizes here. Malhari. My fish friend. Lebu Lionheart. And Eric. A-R-Rock. A-R-A-C-H.
So speaking of fish, the fifth and final prize is the Green Marble Room Koi Pond Dungeon Room.
Which goes to Crossfire Bug's Eye. Hope your network issue got resolved there. We had somebody helping you with that earlier, I think. Mini Leaky, Krazuka Oaken Valley, Scarface, and Rand Althor. Congratulations, you guys.
Congratulations, everyone.
CS person Laney will be getting those to you here pretty quick, and probably will have it by tomorrow night, if not tonight. Sometimes she will beat us and actually have them delivered before we call out the names, which ruins the surprise. But guys, again, thank you for joining us on the stream here today. I hope we got to your question. We've got a lot of interesting stuff coming. I'll take a look at the dragon stuff. I'm sure we'll be hearing about it a lot. Those just went live today, I believe. So if they are circling off in a corner or something like that, we'll get that resolved pretty quick. That was just the first I'd heard of it. Like I said, I used these in my pot and did not see it. But it could be something, like I mentioned, those are actually doing collision. It may be just something that is tall and you're seeing that is pushing them out of the way or something. But those are very cool. Like I said, my favorite part about them is just anytime I go into my town, and even if I'm not thinking about them, I get the dragon shadows flying over me, which is awesome. It's kind of like when you're just one of those times where every so often, like a plane, you'll see a plane shadow fly over, and you think it's so cool, like plane shadow. You ever had that happen? Or like a bird? Anyways, maybe that's something that only Air Force brat knows about, because there's always planes flying over them. But guys, again, thank you. Be safe out there. I just saw Texas opened up vaccines to anyone 50 and over starting Monday. So get in line whenever you can. And I know not all of you are over 50, but do be safe. Stay home if you can. Wear a mask when you're out. Do all the stuff you can, because we want to have you guys around here. Also, super happy that our charity auction went so well, and I think that's already everything's been done with that. And the Airy Fund guys contributed, I forget how much, but like $47.50, so it was like $9,500 was the donation that went out there. Super happy about that, and I know that's going to do a lot of good and reduce a lot of stress on some people. So thank you. And I feel horrible. I don't remember who actually won, who the person who won. Well, I guess the person who really wins is the person on the end of the charity, Wendy, but I forget who the top bidder was. We'll try and make sure and get that out there. Bridge Troll. Oh, wait, didn't Bridge Troll just win something here? Yes, Bridge Troll won ornate bagpipes. Congratulations, Bridge Troll, multiple different times. Thank you for being such a huge part and helping the community so much. And I think that was one of the people that also helped explain why the punching or the training dummy thing was such a big deal. And that's definitely one of the reasons why it was prioritized, is having somebody who helps the community like that say that it is a big problem. So, guys, again, thank you so much. Let me figure out where we are going to send you guys here today. Probably just going to roll at random unless there's some brand new guy who has like less than the 50 subscribe or 50 followers or whatever. Let's see. I miss not having Elgarian around to do the find me somebody to raid. Let's see. Graceful Bard, always awesome. Revenant. Oh, BJ Weiler. Serpentwine. Silver Tree. And Poodoo Simon. Oh. These are all good people. A couple of those are new people, which I love seeing, but I'm just going to go ahead and do the random, the roll 6. Let me do that real quick. Just so I don't have to play favorites or look like I'm playing favorites, because you guys know I'd all... Now, there's a couple of those guys I'd raid all day long. But here we go. Roll 6. Was a roll. That's not my fault. It was a roll of 1. Should move that out there so I can do it. And 1 is Graceful Bard. Again, you guys can go wherever you want to. If you enjoy music, Graceful Bard is absolutely a good place to do it. And also, she does an amazing job of just like dressing up. Looks like she's in blue face and elf ears and white hair tonight. So yeah, you gotta respect that a bit. If you want to see somebody playing, doing some adventuring because you're trying to learn some stuff, there's probably some better people for you out there. But we're all gonna go see Graceful Bard, and you can't go wrong with her. Guys, again, thank you so much. Thanks to so much to the community. It means so much to us that you guys do so much to help out other people out there. I think the Wendy, helping out Wendy is just a huge story and a huge deal. Again, everybody's having a tough time right now, but just imagine all the stuff that she's going through in addition to all the stuff that everybody's going through these days. But guys, let's go raid Graceful Bard. And I will not be singing to you tonight, but maybe there could be something in your future in case you miss some of my singing. I can't say more. All right, guys. Be safe. We will see you next week, if not before then. I think there's a couple of cool events. There's a jousting event tomorrow. Oh, now I'm wishing I'd put that up there. There's not a jousting, an event tomorrow with horses, horse racing. Definitely go check it out. Does anybody have the information? If not, we'll try and get it out there. Again, our social guy, Elgarian, is down for the count. Not tomorrow, March 20th. Okay, next. Oh, well, I can probably make that then.
Iron Hall Race.
The Iron Hall Race, that's it. It's here in Iron Hall. I can probably make that one. I was taking this week off just because I'd done 3 weekends in a row where I'd been to in-game events for 2 or more hours, and I was trying to do a little family time this weekend. And there might be a few Longhorns basketball games on too. But anyways, guys, next weekend, lots of good stuff out there. Elgarian will be back on his feet soon, and he can start promoting some of that stuff. Let's go raid the Graceful Bard again. If you love music, if you love just hearing her sing, talk about stuff, awesome. If not, there's probably some people out there who are doing some playing. Let's go raid, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.